Namo Narayana, welcome back. We are on Chapter 15, King Prthu's Appearance and Coronation, here in Canto 4. The great sage Maitreya continued his story. My dear Vidura, thus the Brahmanas and the great sages again churned the two arms of King Vena's dead body. As a result, a male and female couple came out of his arms. The great sages were highly learned in Vedic knowledge. When they saw the male and female born of the arms of Vena's body, they were very pleased, for they could understand that the couple was an expansion of a plenary portion of Lord Vishnu. The great sages said, "The male is a plenary expansion of the power of Lord Vishnu, who maintains the entire universe, and the female is a plenary expansion of the goddess of fortune, who is never separated from the Lord. Of the two, the male will be able to expand his reputation throughout the world. His name will be Prthu. Indeed, he will be the first among kings. The female has such beautiful teeth and beautiful qualities that she will actually beautify the ornaments she wears. Her name will be Arki. In the future, she will accept King Prthu as her husband. In the form of King Prthu, the Lord has appeared through a part of his potency to protect the people of the world. The goddess of fortune is the constant companion of the Lord, and therefore she has incarnated partially as Arki to become King Prthu's queen." The sage Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, at that time all the Brahmanas highly praised and glorified the new king, and the best singers chanted his glories. The inhabitants of Siddhaloka showered flowers, and the beautiful women in the heavenly planets danced in ecstasy. Conch shells, bugles, drums, and kettle drums vibrated in outer space. Great sages, forefathers, and personalities from the heavenly planets all came to earth from various planetary systems. Lord Brahma, the master of the entire universe, arrived there accompanied by the demigods and their chiefs. Seeing the lines of Lord Vishnu's palm on King Prthu's right hand, and the impressions of lotus flowers on the soles of his feet, Lord Brahma could understand that King Prthu was a partial representation of the Lord. One whose palm bears the sign of a disc, as well as other such lines, should be considered a partial representation or incarnation of the Supreme Lord. The learned Brahmanas, who were very attached to the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, then arranged for the king's coronation. People from all directions collected all the different paraphernalia for the ceremony, thus everything was complete. All the rivers, seas, hills, mountains, serpents, cows, birds, animals, heavenly planets, the earthly planet, and all other living entities collected various presentations according to their ability to offer the king. Thus the great King Prthu, exquisitely dressed with garments and ornaments, was coronated and placed on the throne. The king and his wife, who was also exquisitely ornamented, appeared exactly like fire. Kauruva presented the great king with a golden throne. The demigod Varuna presented him with an umbrella that constantly sprayed fine particles of water and was as brilliant as the moon. Vayu, the demigod of air, presented 2 wisps of hair. Dharma, the king of religion, presented him with a flower garland which would expand his fame. Indra presented him with a valuable helmet. Yamajara, the superintendent of death, presented him with a scepter which to rule the world. Lord Brahma presented King Prthu with a protective garment made of spiritual knowledge. Sarasvati, the wife of Brahma, gave him a transcendental necklace. Lord Vishnu presented him with a Sudarshana disc, and Lord Vishnu's wife, the goddess of fortune, gave him imperishable opulences. Lord Shiva presented him with a sword within a sheath marked with 10 moons, and his wife, the goddess Durga, presented him with a shield marked with 100 moons. The moon demigod presented him with horses made of nectar, and the demigod Vishvakarma presented him with a very beautiful chariot. Agni presented him with a bow made of horns of goats and cows. The sun god presented him with arrows as brilliant as sunshine. The predominating deity of Brahloka presented him with slippers full of mystic power. The demigods from outer space brought him presentations of flowers again and again. The demigods who always travel in outer space gave the king the arts to perform dramas, sing songs, play musical instruments, and disappear at his will. The great sages also offered him infallible blessings. The ocean offered him a conch shell, produced from the ocean. The seas, mountains, and rivers gave him room to drive his chariot without impediment, and Asuta, Magadha, and Avandi offered prayers and praises. They all presented themselves before him to perform their respective duties. Thus, when the greatly powerful King Prthu, son of Vena, saw the professionals before him, to congratulate them he smiled, and with the gravity of the vibrating sounds of clouds, he spoke as follows. O gentle Sutta, Magadha, and other devotees offering prayers, the qualities of which you have spoken are not distinct in me. Why then should you praise me for all these qualities when I do not shelter these features? I do not wish for these words meant for me to go in vain, but it is better that they be offered to somebody else. Gentle reciters, offer such prayers in due course of time, when the qualities of which you have spoken actually manifest themselves in me. The gentle who offer prayers to the Lord do not attribute such qualities to a human being who does not actually have them. How could an intelligent man, competent enough to possess such exalted qualities, allow his followers to praise him, if he did not actually have them? Praising a man by saying that if he were educated he might have become a great scholar, a great personality, is nothing but a process of cheating. A foolish person who agrees to accept such praise does not know that such words simply insult him. As a person with a sense of honor and magnanimity does not like to hear about his abominable actions, a person who is very famous and powerful does not like to hear himself praised. So, my dear devotees, headed by the sutta, just now I am not very famous for my personal activities because I have not done anything praiseworthy you should glorify. Therefore, how could I engage you in praising my activities exactly like children? Thus ends chapter 15. As I was reading that, I was wondering, where are we going with this? And then that wonderful ending, which is a lesson to all of us. How often have you seen someone praised? Maybe they just arrived to a situation and everyone's like, oh, this is going to be so great, and they're wonderful, and they're just so amazing. Or you've seen people praised who just have no qualities. Or maybe that person is like Vena, they demand praise. That is not what we should be doing. That is wrong. That is just so absolutely not right. We should praise someone exactly as the king said, who has given us reason for praise. But I know in your life, though, you can bring up examples. And maybe you've been someone who's been praised. And I'll ask you, yeah, it felt good, I'm sure, but did you really feel like you deserved it? You were praised for stuff you hadn't done? And then what happened when you did it and you didn't quite live up to expectations? Did it go well for you? It just, that chapter was so good. It just was like starting on this coronation, and it's just going to be whatever. And I was thinking to myself, how are we going to use this in our spirituality? That's the question I always ask to things like that. That just seems so detailed or abstract or something, and then they end with that beautiful bit of what not to do. Do not praise those who do not deserve it. Praise those who have shown that they are worthy of praise through their actions, not just because you want them to be worthy of praise. Don't turn that person into a god just because. What's interesting about this chapter is that it was this young king who spoke about that. The gods were even lost in delusion. They're even praising this king. Even the gods were lost. That's interesting to me. This is such an interesting canto. I really feel, and I've said this before, that this is the canto of emotions, of passion for life and for things. It's the canto of good and bad. It's like we had 3 cantos of this amazing theological discussion and things, and then now we're just right down to earth. Such a passionate canto that's just teaching us through example. I'm really enjoying this. I wasn't too sure when I first started reading it what I was getting into, but it's just been really revealing and surprises us with these little things. So, anyways, thank you as always for joining me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.